Hi, welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Kassi and I'm your host. And today is Wellness Wednesday, which is a time where instead of focusing on yarn crafts, we focus on crafting ourselves because we are our own creative project. And for those of you who are subscribed to me, I will get back to yarny related content tomorrow, but for today we are focusing on ourselves. For those of you who have never met me before, welcome to the channel. I have a Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday where I share with my subscribers tips for improving their health and well-being. So I do have a degree in psychology and I've worked in the mental health field in child psychology, family counseling, and with criminal psychology. I've worked with prisoners before. I also have my own challenges. Most of my subscribers know that I have autism and I have some other issues as well. I mean, I'm not going to talk about my whole medical history, but I wanted to teach you guys something that's really, really important and very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and start this Wellness Wednesday. So today I am going to teach you how to kind of hijack your mind so that your mind is working for you instead of against you. And I'll explain that. So your brain is connected to your nervous system, right? And your nervous system has two primary modes. The first mode is the sympathetic nervous system, and the other mode is the parasympathetic nervous system. So what do these do? The sympathetic nervous system is related to something that I'm sure you guys have heard. It's called the fight or flight response. Now there are other things associated with the fight or flight response. There's also the freeze response when you just kind of like, I don't know what to do. And then there's the fawn response where you try to make friends with whatever the threat to you is. And some people can be, you know, people pleasers and stuff like that when they're in that place where they're feeling really anxious. Okay, so there are others, but fight and flight are pretty much the ones that most people know about. So that happens when your sympathetic nervous system is in charge, right? And here's the deal. When your sympathetic nervous system is in charge, you cannot physically control the part of your brain that deals with executive functioning, making decisions that are well thought out, and it separates you from your ability to reason, okay? So I'm not saying that when people are in fight or flight mode, they're unreasonable. I'm just saying that when they're in that state, they are able to make quick, intuitive decisions. They're able to be much more alert, survive the situation, and get through it. Unfortunately, we live a lot of our lives with this sympathetic nervous system turned on, and that causes excess stress and excess anxiety. So I'm going to teach you a trick to switch your nervous system from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. So let me tell you a little bit about the parasympathetic nervous system. This is called the rest and digest side of the brain, and I think I really like that because it just kind of shows you how, you know, when you are at rest, when you're at ease, and you know, your body knows that you are surviving the moment very well, it kind of, you know, lets down its guard. And those are times when we can come up with some of the most creative ideas and experiences. And so when our rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system is in control, our brain is much more open to the more executive functioning or our reasonable side. All right, so I'm going to teach you how to get to that side if you're in the sympathetic nervous system and you're all fight or flight or freeze or fawn or stressed, basically, okay? And sometimes we can't even tell the difference, you know, sometimes it switches back and forth really quickly, you know, but fight and flight is great for when you're preparing for a test, but not so great when you're preparing for bed, right? So here's how you hijack your brain and force it into parasympathetic nervous system. This is called a grounding exercise, and many people associate grounding with something that's kind of like maybe kind of out there. But what grounding means really is to come into your reasoning mind and be really rooted into the here and now in a calm way, right? So it's a really, really easy system. All you have to know is the colors of the rainbow. Okay, and there's an acronym that you can use. It's like Roy B. Jiv for the red, orange, etc., right? Okay, so we're going to go red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Okay, we're just gonna kind of simplify it a little bit. All right, guys. So here's what you do right now. Look around your room. Okay, or look around wherever you are. Look around, and what I want you to do is first start with red and find one thing in your environment that is red. So I did this exercise before I recorded this, so I have collected the things that I found when I was doing this exercise before recording. So I found this red candle and it has this like kind of strip right here. That's because I had some tape around it because I thought it looked cute. But this red candle is something that I made myself. I put some essential oils in some beeswax, and it basically smells like cinnamon and cloves and all of that kind of stuff. But this was my red object that I found. So just find a red object. Now we're gonna go on to the next color. Okay, so we're going to orange, and for orange I found this orange hat that I made for my daughter. It is the Divine hat, and if you want to know the pattern, it's called the Divine hat, and it's made of this yarn that was dyed to look like a fox. It was called Foxy, and of course foxes have that kind of red orange in their fur, so I saw this orange and I thought this is a really good orange. So what I want you to do is find something orange in your environment. So once you're done with that, we are going to move on to yellow. And as a lot of people know, yellow is one of my favorite colors, probably my favorite. I like the pale yellow though, not the really bright yellow. But I did find something yellow in my environment, and that was this really, guard your eyes, this really bright index card. So it was kind of easy for me to see. So I have index cards just over there on my desk. I'm looking at them right now. I just picked out one so I could show it to you guys. And so this is my yellow item. So what I'd like for you to do is look around the area where you are and find something yellow. So now that you've found something yellow, we are going to move on to the color green. Now I looked around my room and I have a lot of green items in my room. I love using green and brown to decorate with. So there was a lot to choose from, but I decided to choose this, which is a workbook that I've been working on myself. And as a kind of bonus tip for Wellness Wednesday, this is called Transforming the Living Legacy of Trauma. It is a way, it is a workbook, and it's a way to work on trauma issues without having to go through that trauma. A lot of trauma victims have a lot of issues with trauma therapy because a lot of trauma therapy is having to re-experience that trauma and then they re-traumatize themselves, right? Well, this workbook does not look at what happened or, you know, or anything like that. It looks at what your symptoms are and what you can do about that. So Transforming the Living Legacy of Trauma is a green book, and also one that I recommend if you are experiencing any kind of emotions that reflect trauma, okay? And I'm not your medical doctor or your therapist or anything like that. I'm recommending it as a friend, okay? I'm just saying this is working for me for a lot of my issues, so just want to be super clear there. So next color is blue. So look around your room and find something blue, and I will show you what I found. So this is a little like kind of terry cloth here. It says Polaroid on it, so I think that it came with like camera, and it like with a camera to like cleanse the lens of the camera, but I use it to cleanse the lenses of my glasses. So this was my blue item that I saw in my room, and so I would just like for you to make note of something in your environment that is blue. And the last color is purple. So find something in your environment that's purple. And I found this wisteria branch. I had it wrapped around a candle because I thought that it looked really pretty around the candle. And I actually hadn't put it away after I started decorating for fall. It was from my spring decoration. I must just really like this, you know, and I just liked the way it looked in the environment, so I kept it there. So here's something purple that I found. Now, I want to explain, now that you guys have found items in your environment and all of that, and if you weren't able to find a certain color, that's okay. The important part is that you're looking around your environment and anchoring in on specific things, and you're able to, when you're doing that, you switch over to your parasympathetic nervous system, which allows you to kind of relax a little bit and get into the place where at least you can access your executive functioning. But I want to tell you why this works, okay? So the reason why this works is that when we are super anxious and we're having a lot of stress, a lot of that is in our bodies, and a lot of it is internal, obviously. It's happening to us, right? So when we look outside of ourselves and we start observing our environment in a purposeful way, okay? So like if you're taking a walk, for example, and you're looking around and you're just observing what's going on. Some people really like nature, some people don't, that's fine. But as you're observing what's going around purposefully, then you are switching from that super alert level where you're like, oh, I have to, you know, because that's where the sympathetic nervous system is, right? It's in that fight or flight, that place where you're like, have to be on guard about everything. It takes that natural urge from the sympathetic nervous system and it turns it around to a parasympathetic activity. So it's kind of bridging the gap there. So that is a really, really effective way of just kind of calming down, turning down the volume on that anxiety or stress. And sometimes we don't even know that we're in it when we're in it, because it's kind of ends up feeling normal for some people when they're in it a lot. And unfortunately, that's not very good for our well-being. And so to help your well-being, just make sure that you are observing your environment more. Use the colors to help ground yourself into this is what's actually happening and all of that. And know that when we talk about grounding, we're talking about getting access to our full brain capacity. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Even if you're already subscribed, you might not like videos as often because you're just subscribed and you don't think about it. Please give us a like. It just tells YouTube that this video is a quality video. And for those of you who haven't been with me before, if you enjoy this video, I release these once every Wednesday, and if you subscribe, then you'll get to see them. But just know that I'm primarily a yarn content, crochet channel, so you'll get some of that too. That said, I will see you soon in another video. Bye for now.